Award-winning futurist researcher and keynote speaker Nikolas Badminton joining us on Canada Now for his weekly visit. Nick, this time we focus on sustainable fashion because last week Stella McCartney introduced the world's first clothes made from mushroom leather.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've been looking at mushrooms and plants and algae and all sorts of things as fabric, and it's been very much in the lab, very much research based. But Stella McCartney's stepped forward, and obviously she's got a background being vegan, and obviously her father Paul and mother Linda vegan as well, and it's really exciting. I mean, I love fashion. I love people that are starting to really think sustainably. And I've started just choosing to buy sustainable clothes as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about your Nikes, because you've got the Nike shoe Space Hippie. You've got a pair of those. It's looking to be the most sustainable shoe ever.
Yeah, I actually bought a pair of the Space Hippies when they came out, and so it's about taking waste materials from the factory and recombining them, reconstituting them, and making new sneakers in this case. And the Space Hippies are part of the sole is recycled, part of the upper is recycled. I think it's 60-70% by weight is recycled, which is a bit of a weird metric, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
But it steps in the right direction. It's very, very difficult to be able to make all of these completely sustainable sneakers. Is one of the things. I've got tons of sneakers. I've also got some Nike ISPAs and similar vibes with them as well. I'm wearing a Patagonia fleece right now, 65% recycled polyester. So yeah, it's the world's starting to think, let's be sustainable. And really, the prices aren't that different from the other clothes as well.
Well, and Nike, they've been on board with that for a long time. They divert over 1 billion plastic bottles a year. So, when one is making a choice of which company am I going to pay for, and I look, this is not sponsored by Nike, or I have nothing to do with that, but that would be one example of, hey, as a consumer, we might look into the company's habits and what they're doing and say, you know what, I'm going to give my money to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this sustainability angle, it's not going to be a gimmick anymore, Jeff. It's not just going to be a statement on their website and, oh, by the way, we do this as well. It's going to be core to what people do from an apparel perspective as well. And we've got this rise of the circular economy, sort of reduce, reuse, recycle, and that entire side of things as well. So we're heading in the right direction, I think.
Well, will we one day see a fashion industry that thrives on recycled and upcycled materials alone? Because experts say that we're about 5 years or so from seeing that transition.
So it's already started. If you look at platforms like Etsy, right, and Poshmark, the resale market is crazy hot right now. I work with some clients that run retail locations over the past year, and it's how are things going to change? And it's resale is coming. Things are going to change. What's really interesting is there's going to be a 39% compound annual growth rate in the resale market by 2024. That market's going to be worth $36 billion. New products market is only going to be worth $28 billion. So it's already starting to work out what, we can't put clothes into landfill. We can't, let's go and buy clothes that have already been worn. Let's maybe even take them, as you said, recycle, upcycle them, rip apart clothes, put them back together. There's even some high fashion designs, haute couture, that's built out of, used military jackets and jeans and whatever. And I just find it so vibrant and so interesting. And you can still wear really high value, high quality gear without just, going and buying fast fashion. This t-shirt is $10. It lasts for 15 washes, you throw it away. That world, H&M and all that sort of cheap fast fashion stuff.
Yeah.
I think their day of reckoning is coming.
Well, let's look at more numbers. 87% of material used for clothing production is landfilled or incinerated after its final use. That's a lost opportunity worth about $100 billion annually. 92 million tons of industry textile waste is created each year. U.S. consumers alone discard nearly 17 billion pounds of apparel annually. It takes 700 gallons of water to produce a single cotton tee. These numbers come out. Given all that, is there a responsibility not only placed on the industry, but all of us as consumers to make and demand better choices?
Yeah, and add to that, who's making it, where are they making it, how are they shipping it, what's the carbon footprint of that particular good? It's probably being made in Turkey or Bangladesh, Vietnam, wherever, and it's all good for those economies, but like working conditions aren't great in all cases. Hopefully that works itself out as well. But yeah, absolutely, you look at these numbers, and we have to sit ourselves down as a human race and really slap ourselves across the face and say, we have to start taking responsibility for how consumerism exists in the world. I mean, you see this big ship that's stuck in the Suez Canal, and there's this. You see a map of all the ships that can't get through. Mm-hmm. What's on those ships?
Right.
Do we need that? There might be food. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What else is on the ships?
Yeah.
Like gizmos and gadgets and widgets and clothes and whatever. It's like, come on. Like, we got to look within what's close to us as well. Look to local fashion designers, people that run ateliers that make clothes here, that upcycle, that do exciting things. And they're right on our doorstep. We just need to open our eyes.
So what about technology? Like, how is technology helping in recovering and reusing items?
There's some really exciting stuff out there. I mean, going back to sneakers, like Adidas worked with a company called Parley, and Parley they recycle. They take plastics out of the ocean and they recycle them, and they make sneakers with Adidas. They make other products as well. That kind of technology is real. I think there was a French contractor that takes recycled tires and recycled plastic bottles, and they make children's playgrounds. They make sidewalks and whatever. It's like, this is smart choices. These are smart decisions that we're starting to make here. And I just think that we don't need to be incentivized by things being cheaper or whatever. It's being incentivized because it's the right thing to do, right?
Well, and I like how we're evolving and always thinking of a better way to do things, because like getting back to Stella McCartney and introducing the world's first clothes made from mushroom leather. In an effort to get away from animal products, companies have been manufacturing artificial leather with oil-derived plastics. So this would be an alternative. Like it'd behave and look like animal leather with a fraction of the environmental cost.
Yeah, and there's still an issue there, right? Petroleum-based and oil-based plastics. How do we get away from that? People are starting to look, for plants and, as I said, like algae and a whole bunch of different things that can even replace the effectiveness of plastic. I mean, you look at jackets like go snowboarding, put on a Gore-Tex jacket. You're literally, what you're wearing is completely non-natural in a way. It's been treated, it's got this, it's got that. So I mean, there's a bit of a rewilding of the human sort of fashion ecosphere in a way here, Jeff, and we have to realize that all of these new avenues are really more valid than going after the clothes that are really going to impact the world. I mean, we've spoken before about how the beef industry could go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Say we don't stop. Say that we stop. Raising cattle. Then leather disappears. What are we going to do? Well, there's like vegan leather. There's mushroom leather. There's all these things. They're valid choices, Jeff, and we have to make sure that the values shift. We saw this with fur as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's I don't wear fur anymore. Well, you go to Northern Canada, people wear fur because that's culture, that's heritage, that's what they do. But you're walking down in a posh part of Toronto, like Yorkville or something like that, and you're wearing a mink stole.
Why?
You don't need that. You don't need that mink stole. There's a lot about context here, and the context here is like, what? There's thrift stores all over the big cities and even small towns. go there. There's cool gear in there, you know.
The thing is, I think there's a lack of education and knowledge about a lot of this stuff. You know, myself included, Nick, because there's a lot of things like through the conversations we've had over the many shows that we've done together, where I go, I didn't know that, and you would have introduced me to a lot, and you will go and do these keynote speeches, and you'll bring a lot of attention to a lot of topics that you're there to talk about, and you'll give information that a lot of people don't know about. What's the reaction when you introduce let's say a topic like this, and you talk about sustainable fashion in this case, and you talk about this in a keynote speech? What is usually the feedback that you would get in introducing new ways, new ideas to people that would, help the planet?
A lot of the times I just hear this. It's like, oh, this is a really good point, but I like new clothes. I like to know that I'm the first person in that situation, and it's a closed mindset, and it's a capitalist mindset. You know, we see all these advertisements around us, and it's like new this and new that, bigger, faster, more cameras, nicer gear, like the fashion trends. Fashion trends are kind of turning in on themselves, and what's so exciting about the young fashion industry, the kids that are out there that are redefining what fashion, what looks look like. They're going into thrift stores, they're going into recycling, they're making their own clothes, and they're sort of pushing off this oldie worldy, new is best kind of attitude. So, I mean, I've got a kid, right? And so the amount of clothes that we were gifted that were from other people that had kids, look at that ecosystem. It's incredible. And now we're passing on, because my kid's clearly growing like a madman right now. He's going to be about 8'3" by the time he's 16. But like these kids are, there's lots of ecosystems. So the young and the people with kids and whatever. And I just think all of that's just bursting at the seams. That's why we're going to see explosive growth. And do you know what? Someone wearing a 1975 Chanel jacket is 100 times cooler than someone that's wearing a new Chanel jacket, right? So there's that kind of currency that goes with it as well.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that with my kid, because my oldest, I don't think we literally bought him a piece of clothing until he was like 3 or 4, because we had kids later, and so many people that we know have had their kids already. So and you see someone with a new kid, you're like, oh my God, give them our stuff, because we want to use it. We want it to get used and loved. And so you want to do that. So, and I often thought during that time, why aren't adults doing more of that? So hopefully we're trending that way. Check out NikolasBadminton.com. Futurist researcher and keynote speaker, Nikolas Badminton. A pleasure, my friend. We'll talk again next week.
Keep rocking in the free world, Jeff.
Thanks, dude. There is Nikolas Badminton. Again, NikolasBadminton.com.